Hey guys, today we're covering a commentary group. What's a commentary group? It's where a group of commentators collaborate to make content for a specific channel. Cool? Not cool, because the one we're covering today is ran by Nihilistic Snake. I've already done 2 commentaries on him before, both of which I thought were alright, but in case I haven't made it clear, I think Nihilistic Snake is the worst commentator currently in the commentary community. Yeah, you could say that Syndicate of Outcasted commentators were doomed from the start, not helping were a cast of other commentators that are, in my opinion, less than average. All of these factors added up to an overall lackluster track record. However, I wasn't interested in covering them. Sure, their videos were bad, but it wasn't the type of bad that interested me. Then this video came out. Not only is it based around politics, not only is it the worst commentary Stock has ever put out, but it is, indeed, a commentary mostly scripted by Snake himself.
Hold on, I have to ask. Is it true that Nihilistic Snake wrote most of that script?
Yeah, Sirius, is it true?
Yes, it's true.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, then I feel so...
Okay.
then I feel really bad for you, because you got the worst lines.
Yeah.
Stop letting him write scripts. That was the same problem with our co-op that we did. I need to stop letting him do that.
I haven't even started this commentary yet and I'm already furious. Fun fact, this isn't the first time Stock attempted this shit. A former member, Clown Dude, scripted an entire commentary for them in the past, but here's the difference. At least they had enough sense to reject Clown Dude's script, making their own together instead. Them not doing that with this only shows severe incompetence with the group channel as a whole. This is ignoring the fact that I hesitate to call this a collaboration now. Snake could replace the other commentators in here with Muppets and it worked just as well. But enough beating around the bush. We have a commentary section to cover. Only Black Girl is at the 0th degree talking about Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. 6T760 and Mr. Flipper Invader 782 are at the 1st degree. Stock is at the 2nd degree, specifically Snake, Sirius, Masked Reviewer, and Chirprox, and I'm at the 3rd degree commentating on all you fuckers because I want to prove a point. I believe that Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter had good intentions but lacked in execution. With that said, I'm putting my stances aside so I can cover 3 legitimately awful videos. I want to show that Snake can still be as much of an SJW as he wants, while still making good commentaries that touch upon political topics. This is gonna be a fun one if you couldn't tell.
Hey guys, I'm now in stock.
Why does Chirp hold up a gun while trying to act bubbly? Emphasis on trying to act bubbly. Chirp's wit in acting makes her sound more like an annoying valley girl than anything.
I'm now in stock.
That fake laughter will forever haunt me in my dreams. Why does Chirp's microphone sound like she just drowned it? Why aren't any of those cars in the background running her over? And finally, your Chirp rocks. Your Chirp rocks.
Ha! I was here first.
Chirprax, Master Viewer, welcome to Southwestern Palestine!
Hey guys, I'm in Bop now.
I'm here too, bitcher!
Your mother.
Welp, I just got mother. Silver, Ty, welcome to New Zealand!
Man, stealing jokes from other commentators and bunch of pseudo-intellectuals sure is fun. Let's just add that to the collection of moments Nihilistic Snake steals jokes from other commentators and bunch of pseudo-intellectuals. Huh. I think I'm gonna have to get a new shelf.
Why are we in Palestine?
Benghazi wasn't renting.
Uh-huh. So what do we do here now?
I'm here too, you know.
Hey Justin, I thought you died.
Who wants to do a commentary on these scrubs who aren't very good at talking about Black Lives Matter?
Sign me the fuck up!
This intro skit structure is fucking broken. Sirius just pops out of nowhere after the Masked Reviewer asks what to do. Then Chirprox responds to the Masked Reviewer after Snake says hi to Sirius. However, wouldn't Snake's exchange with Sirius fit better before the Masked Reviewer asks what to do? Here, let me fix this.
Chirprax, Master Viewer, welcome to Southwestern Palestine!
I'm here too, you know.
Hey Justin, I thought you died.
Why are we in Palestine?
Benghazi wasn't renting.
Uh-huh. So what do we do here now?
Who wants to do a commentary on these scrubs who aren't very good at talking about Black Lives Matter?
Sign me the fuck up!
See how that flows better? This is ignoring the already stilted chemistry you guys have with one another. Even when you're stealing jokes from Bob, everyone just kinda introduces themselves and gives exposition and that's it. there's nothing to really spice things up. Going back to the Bop commentary, most of their intro involved the commentators playing off of one another.
Hey, speaking of triggers, can I be odd from Code Lyoko?
No! No one likes Code Lyoko!
Hey, I worked very hard to not get raped in prison. I deserve one blonde.
Get your hands away from me, faggot.
An attractive blonde.
It's alright, not everyone's always correct.
Now you can argue whether or not you find this banter funny, but the point is they demonstrated chemistry. Meanwhile, all I hear in this commentary is, "Today we're in a specific location and we're doing a commentary." Actually, there's an easy way you can fix this problem. It's called collaborating. Okay, disregarding Snake using music from his favorite Porno Grind album is pretty fucking sad when you have to rely on the original video's intro for an engaging visual. Like, all you guys did was plaster text over 6T760's editing. Mind you, while 6T760 herself placed text onto her intro. Seriously, did anybody take a second look at that and go like, yeah, that might be a little jarring? What's even worse is that you played her entire intro to boot without any commentary on it. And the saddest part is, that's the best part of your intro. I mean, it's better than just looking at static clips being poorly synced to the music. Honestly, I'm starting to think you guys slap your intros together in a minute during the editing process. You take a look at flashy intros that I believe you were going for here, and you'll see many pictures coming into play at a quick pace, dynamic backgrounds, extensive keyframing, and attention to detail. Making intros like that, however, requires a lot of patience and revisions, something I'm not seeing from your intro.
Hello everyone, this is 6T760 doing another co-op commentary. I'm a little nervous because the last time I did one of these was poorly received. The topic my guest and I will be talking is controversial, or at least it somewhat was, and that special guest is none other than...
Me. Yes, it's me, Mr. Flippy82 here.
Excuse me, Flippy, could you slow down a bit? I don't think your username is Mr. FlippityFlap782.
Flippy Flop? Snake, I know what you were trying to go for here, but nowhere in Flippy Invader's inflection indicates to him saying flop. This would have worked so much better if you said something like Mr. Flip R Vader 782. It may seem like a small thing, but it really kills what would otherwise be an admittedly funny joke.
Also, the way Flippy was introduced in this video really bugs me.
Okay, if I can pick on Chirp some more, why did she say the line like that? It really bogs me, guys. It just bogs me.
But the delay before he chimes in and how you stretch out your "then" a bit longer than necessary just makes it all more jarring. And you'll see how this is a problem later on since these two have zero chemistry. Seriously, Bella and Jacob from Twilight work better together than these two.
Ha, Twilight joke. That totally didn't die out years ago. Also, what does 6T's and Flippy's chemistry have to do with your criticisms that are more towards their timing and editing? Like, the two are barely related. Not to mention, I have no idea why you didn't save the chemistry point for later on when we could have seen more of their chemistry. Glad to know that poor structuring skills are as apparent in the commentary itself as it was in the intro skit.
Can I just say that Flippy isn't exactly the best person to work with regarding civil rights? I mean, I'd hate to burn up old drama here, but the guy's claim to fame was a video where he says girls deserve to get raped. And while he has retracted that video,
thus meaning that bringing it up was pointless and shouldn't speak for his political ideology nowadays. By the way, Sirius, I think you should turn your Discord on Do Not Disturb when you record. Just saying.
He's left no indication that he's any better at dealing with serious topics, as evidenced by your co-op.
Hey, you'll see this later on in the video. Hey, you're gonna see this commentary, it's bad. Christ, can you guys cut it with the padding already? Just get on with it.
It's been a good while since I made a full-length commentary, but hey, this is a start. So, what's the controversial topic we're talking about?
It's about the infamous Black Lives Matter and the movement itself. You know, the same movement that did these?
Clip shows playing. Still playing.
Oh, don't tell me we're doing this again.
Intro's playing. Still playing.
Hold up, I'm just gonna take a wild guess here. Does a joke end like this?
How long is Meta's intro?
30 seconds. Why didn't you cut out the intro or shorten it?
How long does this clip show last?
2 minutes.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Why did you feel the need to drag out your video like that?
Of course. Okay, as bad enough as it is that Snake plagiarizes the fuck out of lots of commentators, this instance in particular is actually really bad. The joke in the Bob commentary you got this from is one that goes on for quite a bit and is instantly recognizable. Here, not only is the joke still instantly recognizable and remains mostly the same, but you dragged the whole joke out as well. Know what this means? I can see exactly where this segment is going from a mile away. Hell, you couldn't even deliver a comedic reaction like what Ricky Ray did, making this entire segment boring and predictable. Shoot me.
Same story, different words, isn't it? Well, what protest are we dissecting today?
We're commenting on the only black girl, yep, that's the username, with horrible choice of lip color, for trying to shame us for saying all lives matter. If you want to know why I despise the phrase Black Lives Matter, her video is one of the reasons why.
Let me play Nostradamus for a minute here. You and Flippy are going to spend close to 11 minutes whining and pissing about how shifting a spotlight to police brutality against unarmed black people is somehow oppressive and reverse racist towards white people.
You know, something tells me you're gonna be 100% right. And we barely even started.
Oh goody, we get this stupid cliche where the co-op partner unironically agrees with another co-op partner as a way to convey chemistry. Surprisingly enough, however, it doesn't do that. It doesn't even give off the illusion of having a conversation. Instead, it conveys the co-op partners sucking each other's dick off. It's as much of a conversation as yes men surrounding a pompous, overblown director.
You know, I really just wanted to touch on this topic of all lives matter, because there's two things that really bother me about this. Number one is the fact that you just sound stupid. You really do. All lives matter. What is it that bothers you about people saying Black Lives Matter? And you just have to run in here and say, no, they don't. All lives matter. Fuck the black people. Excuse me, but all lives matter.
The reason people are saying this is to draw a more peaceful approach to this whole minority killing scene. Sure, black lives are the ones that are in the most danger, but it doesn't mean we need to discard the safety of other lives, like the police officers.
Does that really change how the phrase all lives matter is just a reactionary term to derail a conversation about black lives? Here's a hint. The answer is the opposite of yes.
And here's where the other degrees come into play. First off, the 0th degree displays no evidence or statement of derailing Black Lives Matter's conversation being the intention of the All Lives Matter movement. Then the 1st degree comes in and tries saying that All Lives Matter supporters acknowledge minorities being oppressed, but want a more peaceful solution to it, while linking a source that doesn't specifically showcase All Lives Matter and only proves a very minuscule part of their main point. Then Stock comes in saying, oh, the 0th degree is still correct, while still not providing any examples to prove that being the case. Now I'm here drinking my 8-liter bottle of whiskey. You fuckers wouldn't know proper research if it hit you in the face.
To add on to Justin's point, saying all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter is as ignorant and disrespectful as saying, what about men's rights, to a discussion about women's rights. Hell, let me take this a step further. Would you go to a breast cancer ward and tell the patients, what about other cancers? If you answered yes, go fuck yourself.
There it is. It was only a matter of time until Snake's bias started rearing its ugly head into the video. First off, yeah, it wouldn't be far out there for men's rights to be brought up in a conversation about women's rights. Know why? Cause most of the people who talk about that shit are feminists, and feminists support women having equal rights to men. Then your second analogy pops up and I'm so confused. A medical ward is supposed to provide for individual needs, aka not just focus on one type of illness or disease. A medical ward for a specific type of cancer would make no sense. Basically, we have an analogy that's clouded by your rad femme viewpoint, and we have an analogy that couldn't even exist. Fuck! It's almost as if you have no idea what you're talking about. Just another nihilistic Snake commentary.
First of all, yes, we know that all lives matter. Obviously, we fucking know that all lives matter. Clearly, right now, there's a particular group of people whose lives don't really seem to matter to y'all. That is why we are talking about Black Lives Matter. All lives.
Then why do some people shit-face other people who criticize BLM, like getting suspended and re-educated, or sending death threats to people like this 16-year-old Trump supporter?
Because, believe it or not, those incidents are in the minority. Not to mention, the first article you showed told the story of someone simply criticizing Black Lives Matter. This in no way gives full detail of the actual situation, and for all we know, the student could very well be spouting racism under the guise of criticism. It's usually a good idea to check where you're getting your information from.
Where do I even begin? Only Black Girl just generalizes an entire group of people's thoughts on a race, ignoring the fact that there are All Lives Matter supporters against racism. This bullshit would fit more of the KKK. Then 6T760 chimes in with her second source that doesn't even shed Black Lives Matter supporters in a negative light. Rather, it sheds Trump protesters in a negative light. In fact, the video has BLM supporters condemn Trump protesters for sending death threats to this kid.
While members of the Black Lives Matter movement may not agree with Manuel's political views, they don't condone the threats.
Your other source is good enough, but then, of course, Sock comes in and proves to be the worst of the degrees once again. First off, not gonna further elaborate on what makes those instances in the minority, just gonna leave it at that blanket statement. Alright then. Second off, the first source they link to flat out said that the person who criticized Black Lives Matter said, forget hashtag Black Lives Matter, more like All Lives Matter. Plain as day, crystal clear. Whether that's racist or not, you can't say they don't have any further context. Finally, Masked Reviewer, why do you sound like a retard here? I'm not even talking about your points, I'm talking about your acting. I don't know what made you think it was a good idea to talk so slow while having a dur tone of voice, but it makes you sound like a literal retard. Not helping is the fact that you enunciate all your words like this. And I thought Chirp Rocks was bad.
I mean, there's no emergency at all. I'm totally fine. Have food, water, a perfectly fine house if it's not on fire. But fuck them bitches and they're burning ass house because I'm more important. It's literally what you sound like. You sound fucking stupid.
Stop. I've been wanting to address this for a while now. You see, there was a point I helped popularize back in the day.
Okay, seriously, it's been a minute since you talked. Once your original source material has gone over a minute of no editing or rebuttals, your commentary has a problem.
First off, good god my old commentaries sucked. Second off, since this point I've been seeing people speed up videos to an obnoxious degree. Here's an example.
But I would like to point out this. I've seen a lot of anime where, the characters and the backgrounds and everything is just one still frame, yet the mouths are the only thing that's moving. I mean...
Damn, that's just way too fast. It's my video. No, I saw the same thing happen in the last commentary of Snakes I covered, and I should have touched on that then. Now 6T's doing it, and I'm gonna finally say my piece. Not only was your clip moderately sized in length, goodness fuck, it's only 44 seconds, but 1.5 speed is just too fast and pitches up the voice too much, making it hard to understand what Only Black Girl is even saying. Sure, you have Windows Movie Maker, but you can easily put the video on 1.25 speed and it wouldn't be as fast or high-pitched, and on a rare occasion where that video speed doesn't work, you can edit the video speed manually by clicking the text box that showcases the video speed and adding in your own number. Hell, you don't even have to speed it up. You can cut unimportant parts or even put some of your own content in between the clip in its entirety, and it still help your video be more interesting. For example,
All Lives Matter is like seeing your neighbor's house burning down and you being like, that's cute, but I have a house over here. I mean it's not burning and it's like in perfect working condition, like absolutely there's nothing wrong with it, but I just want you to know that I exist. I'm over here. So maybe you should come pay attention to me and leave that house that's actually burning to the ground and there's like a family of 5 people burning inside of it. Yeah, don't worry about them. Come talk to me. Listen to me. Yes, me. Right here.
Okay, I am getting sick of this bullshit. Take a close look at that phrase. All lives matter. You wanna know what the key word in there is? All. This includes black people, and this doesn't automatically imply that black people should be ignored in favor of another race. Going by your analogy, it inherently means that just because your house is burning doesn't mean you should go to someone else's house, pour gasoline all over it, light up 5 pounds worth of matches, and dump it all over them. In other words, innocent black lives being shot should be talked about, but don't go shooting up innocent police officers or innocent white people while doing so. Sure, like Black Lives Matter, some people twist the definition, but also like Black Lives Matter, some people know exactly what the movement stands for, which is why both statements still have some form of narrative today. Don't pin a straw man against an entire statement.
The way you're describing the burning analogy, just replace the phrase burning houses with black oppression. Looking pretty hypocritical right now, aren't you?
No. In fact, to replace burning house with black oppression is the fucking point. She wasn't speaking for herself, she just tried representing the other side.
Yeah, that'd be nice if you hadn't sped up the context to near incomprehensibility.
And this is where my example ends. 6T, you see how I was able to make what would have been a 56-second clip shorter by cutting out some of what Only Black Girl said and splicing the full clip itself? I hope you do, because now I'm going to use my entire point I made against your production values as an example to show why Snake here fell flat. Snake, you notice I actually told 6T how to improve? You notice how I actually set an example for what she should do? Now, you don't have to do both, but doing one would, you know, actually offer constructive criticism. Instead, you don't explain how 6T can improve, and you don't even bother to fix the issue in your video. Fun! I'm skipping the rest of his point because Snake shoves his bias into the video again, while making a point I can't argue against.
And going by your logic, we should only be talking about Black Lives Matter. What about modern slavery in countries like the Congo and Uzbekistan, or the Falun Gong practitioners getting persecuted at pawns by the government and then killed for their organs in China? I don't see you making videos about those issues, do I, honey?
I completely forgot how cringy it was whenever commentators started calling their targets honey. Thanks for reminding me. More on the point, that analogy doesn't work. Only Black Girl was comparing a house burning to a house that's completely fine. You were comparing a house burning to another house burning.
Just because this particular user doesn't make videos about that doesn't mean no BML activist does. Other people in movements exist. I could easily say every social justice warrior is like Gazai Kodzoro or Trigglypuff. But I'd be wrong since I happen to be in the presence of Snake, who isn't like those two.
Oh god, Snake isn't even trying to hide the fact that he wrote most of the script anymore. Snake, you were so close to making a good point, but then you botched it up by leaving that statement in the air, not explaining how that ties back to the analogy. All you had to do was add in, I say this because only Black Girl was talking about all Lives Matter supporters in general. But as it stands, this point is left in limbo, leaving much more to salvage.
In fact, I can also turn this argument on both you and 6T, because I certainly don't see either of you making videos on these two particular people.
You do know that following their logic is actually following only Black Girl's logic, right? You do know that all you're doing is strengthening their point, right? Fucking hell.
On top of that, just because A is more oppressed than B doesn't mean B isn't oppressed.
Huh. Well, I'll give you this. At least you plagiarized something other than Bop for a change.
Okay, just because A is more oppressed than B, that doesn't mean that B is not oppressed.
Oh, but that's not plagiarism because Skihound also said it in his co-op with Dirtbike Reddin. Yeah, huge difference being that they were referencing libertarian socialist rants and played the clip they got that from, meaning they cited their sources, meaning it's not plagiarism. But it's common structure for comparison points. Yeah, just because you use the same sentence structure does not excuse you from saying the same specific statement, word for word, in the same tone of voice off of libertarian socialist rants.
I'm like, you sound fucking stupid and you sound like an ignorant ass bitch. Now the second thing that bothers me about this phrase, all lives matter, is that it's just a blatant ass lie. All lives do not matter. They do not matter. I repeat, all lives do not fucking matter. It's just code for Black Lives Matter because that's the only, number one, those are the only fucking people who ever say all lives matter.
Then I guess I don't exist because I'm a minority in the US, part of the 17% Hispanic population. Am I right? These minorities on YouTube criticize the movement, as well as the poll where 70% non-whites prefer the all lives matter phrase, including 64% black people. They're just leprechauns and unicorns, right?
Shut your gay-ass mouth, you fucking chowderbrain. That is so irrelevant to what she was saying. Her main point was that the phrase stemmed from white supremacy sentiments and that the idea itself was disingenuous.
Damn it, Snake. Why do you go back to stealing jokes from Bop members?
Shut your autistic fucking mouth, you fucking Spurglord. That is so irrelevant to his point, it's not funny. His point is that Nate's dismissing people in the documentary as SJW without listening to what's actually being said about a legitimate issue.
God damn, the only thing that changed were the insults and context. Commentator appropriation aside, no, that is actually not what she was saying. She clear as day said, only white people use the phrase all lives matter. That goes outside of the phrase just stemming from white supremacists, you fucking liar.
Also, given the fact that you're using Blair White and that guy T as examples of disagreeing with the movement seems kind of cherry-picked, seeing how they're pretty much known for being reactionary morons 97% of the time.
Does that change the fact that there are minorities in the US criticizing Black Lives Matter? I'll let you answer that for yourself.
This is also leaving out how she's probably only seen white people use the phrase all lives matter, which she isn't wrong. I've seen these people before myself.
Because personal anecdotes totally prove your point.
Oh, and the kicker to this, why don't you let her finish her sentence?
Number two, if you look at the history of this country, the only lives that have ever mattered are white people. If you look today, the only people's lives who fucking matter are white people. So don't try to sit here and tell me that all lives matter. Did all lives fucking matter when you was hanging up pregnant black women by their hands and cutting their fucking babies out of their stomachs alive just to prove a point?
Oh boy. She was making a point about social context. It's almost like you completely cut her off for no reason other than my white tears.
Yeah, that was the main point. To her second line of thought, notice how the beginning of your clip separated itself from what 60 and Flippy played right off the bat. All I can say is, at least you make a good point after this.
And since you said the only historical events we heard from are from white people, then how come we don't hear the tragedy of the Wilhelm Gustloff in the World War II history books? And how come the news are even mentioning the lives of the black people in the movement if we're supposed to hear only from then white folks? Oh, do tell me how these four monsters kidnapping the disabled man and tortured him was not racially or politically motivated. I'm listening.
Oh my fucking god, shut up!
Someone's triggered.
Nothing you said actually had anything to do with her point. In fact, while you were busy crying into your oatmeal, I found that those 4 black people were jailed for their actions, and yet a white man who sexually assaulted a black man with a coat hanger walked free. So yeah, it's still white privilege. Nice going.
Yeah, I looked at both sources, and you want to know the big fucking difference between your source and their source? The white guy who assaulted a black dude with a coat hanger pleaded guilty, and the court couldn't prove any accounts of sexual conduct. Meanwhile, the 4 black men weren't even in the courtroom yet, according to 6T's source, and you sure as hell don't show any criminal records showing whether or not they got their sentence or walked free as well. All we know from 6T's source is that they could have 30 years in prison, which, funny enough, is the exact same sentence the white guy would have had. Your source has nothing to do with white privilege. Rather, it has to do with legal moves that can be done by blacks too.
Wasn't the German ship example used a freak accident that happened during World War II? Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you will, but I don't really think that anyone would report an incident that had to do with the country that, at the time, was overrun by Nazis. I'm not saying those people deserve to die, but I'm saying you're supporting her argument about bigotry perpetuated by the media.
If that's how much power the media has, then how do we know about the fucking Holocaust, genius? No, to debunk this point further, the article 6T760 links to even specifies that the reason that event was hidden in history is unknown. People speculate about it, the more common theory being that the Nazis covered it up, but people don't know the actual reason. Basically, your entire point is one big hypothetical in the grand scheme of things.
Did it all lives matter when y'all was throwing Asians in concentration camps? Huh? Did they fucking matter then?
Actually, they were internment camps which just confined instead of killing them.
2 additional things. 1, what you said about throwing Asians in concentration camps, I thought only black lives mattered. So by your logic, why bring Asians into this?
Because they're saying all lives matter and she's arguing that being fake and gay.
Furthermore, the more proper term would be Japanese Americans that they threw in the camps.
Okay, Flippy, it seems to me that you're too fucking retarded to do anything other than construct Strawman, so let me help you out here. She never, ever,
Nothing says entertainment like a 5-year-old screaming into their microphone.
Second, Japanese people would still be considered Asians.
And Flippy wanted her to be more specific. Your point?
And even then, there were instances where Chinese and even Korean people were sent to internment camps as well. So it was still discriminatory against Asians in general.
Really? Then why do people call it the internment of Japanese Americans?
And 2, if you think it's only white people that do all the crimes, 2 incidents. The rape of Nanking and Unit 731.
Explaining my examples? I don't have to explain my examples. That's for my audience to figure out for themselves.
Now I'm convinced that you guys aren't even looking at their sources. The description of 6T's and Flippy's video will link you to a Google Docs that showcases their script, a hilarious typo, and all of their sources, which include documentaries on the rape of Nanking and Unit 731. TLDR, I've lost all faith in this commentary, so it's time for final thoughts. Don't worry, this won't take 8 minutes like my last commentary on Nihilistic Snake. It'll only take 4. You see, I said that Snake scripted most of his commentary. I didn't say he scripted all of it. No, the final thoughts were the part of this video that he didn't have full control over. Know how I know? Here's what the co-op partners said during that part.
Look, guys, I can see you guys having good intentions, but, well, with bad results.
Therefore, don't feel discouraged, and just take this as a learning experience. I'm sure both of you have what it takes to do better in the future.
So I think it's best you follow my comrades' advice and get to work.
And here's what Snake said.
My advice to you both is to not touch political issues with 3 pairs of surgical gloves for a long, long time, because you're clearly not good at it.
Notice how the other co-op partners were trying to offer constructive criticism? Even if Sirius was being obnoxious in his final thoughts, he did say, get to work. Unlike Snake, who offers destructive criticism by telling them to stop doing political commentaries for a long time. I guarantee you, if Snake wrote everyone's final thoughts, they'd all be telling 6T and Flippy to shut up. It is a bit ironic for me to complain about that though, because out of everyone I've covered in my 2 years of doing commentaries, excluding Comment Jack, Snake is one of the very few people that tempt me to say, stop doing commentaries. However, it's not because I just want him gone, rather it's because I never see him having any fun with his commentaries. All I ever see from him is whining about politics, whining about people not liking him, whining about the videos he covers, and attempts to fit in with the cool kids, which in itself is stupid. This fucking shit makes me ask, why are you torturing yourself like this? My best guess as to why he hasn't stormed out yet is because he has some agenda to fill, but I wouldn't know. Here's what I do know though. Snake has been at this shit for 2.5 years, and he's still making the same fucking mistakes. I hear this all the time. YouTube dude, you're too hard on Snake. At least he's trying. Oh? He's trying now. Really? I can't speak much for my other 2 commentaries on Snake cause Snake doesn't like them, but I do know that he likes a bunch of other commentaries made on him. Let's compare, Snake. In Dirtbag Reddin's 3rd commentary on you, he heavily criticized you for plagiarism. In this commentary, you commit plagiarism 4 times. In Doodle's commentary on you, she criticized you for putting your ideology before an argument. In this commentary, well, that's the main problem here. Zerarik criticized you for having a shitty intro not synced well to the music and having a 480p render in a 1080p video. Here, not only does the intro sync poorly to the music, but 6T's whole commentary is a 480p render in a 1080p video. Dirtbag Reddin's 4th commentary on you criticizes you for having a contextually misleading source on the situation. Here, you link us to a white criminal who pleaded guilty and use that to prove white privilege. Dirtbag Reddin's co-op with Henry criticizes SOCCOM you were in for chemistry that makes the other commentators feel like they were forced into a commentary by you. Here, the commentators are you. Some of these criticisms were given to you a year ago from now, yet I'm still seeing the same old shit. Hell, I think you've gotten worse in some areas. It's funny, actually. This came out at the same time your co-op with Ponder Sprocket came out. Now, Ponder co-opted with you to help you improve by setting a standard, and if this was the standard she set, then her attempts were in vain. Say what you will about commentators like Joshua Colbyhouse, at least he didn't take criticism because he didn't accept it. You accept criticism, but don't take it anyway. Combine that with your beyond charismatic personality, shitty analysis skills, and poor production values, being boring all the while by playing it so goddamn safe, and you encapsulate the worst commentator currently in the CC. By the way, playing it safe, another thing Dirtbag Reddin got onto you for in his 4th commentary towards you that you still managed to do by mindlessly spouting the politically correct opinion.
But if that's the case, why is All Lives Matter considered reactionary?
Very simple. The phrase all lives matter usually lacks any sincerity. The users of the phrase don't care about all lives. They just want the black ones to shut up. I really hope you guys get a clearer understanding of societal issues soon.
The list of Snake's fuck-ups is endless and quite repetitive too, but enough on that. Usually I'd be giving out my overall advice at this point, but I don't have any overall advice for Snake this time around. I already gave it out in my last commentary on him. I just made this commentary as one last effort to show Snake what he could be doing with his commentaries instead. The fact is, I'd love to see Snake improve. I'd rather him be doing something that makes him happy, but I'd still love to see him improve. But I don't think anyone can help him anymore if he can't help himself. I'm done.
Oh my god!
Nihilistic Snake is a plagiarist.
Sir, what's happening?
He's plagiarized too many sources.
He's so cringe, he mutated.
Unoriginality. Inability to credit.
The top 10 most overrated games of all time.
You're gonna need some motherfucking citation for that claim! Oh shit!
Hey Snake, here's how you do it. Credit to Pikapedia. It's that simple.